Hey, good afternoon. We are starting way later than normal today, so it's gonna be a very short stream. Apologies for that, but I figured it could be nice to use this time to kind of give you guys an update for what I've gotten done and how the boards are going. Good morning, Con! Good morning! Apologies for being like, I'm gonna start an hour late, and then it turns out being almost basically 2 hours late, but once again, apologies. But yeah, I'll give you guys a little rundown on what I've done over the week since I've streamed. So, this scene I haven't touched. We're still gonna work on this scene. And I might work on this maybe a little bit off stream as well. But I've gone through and I've started doing updates to some of the older frames. In the past half year, I have done a lot more studies, brainstorming, and development of the fashion style of the characters in my web series. So I have created new outfits for the characters to wear during formal rituals and like important events, basically. And let's see, so there's this scene, which is, some of you might not have seen this scene yet, but this is basically a scene where when Taba was born, they had like a naming ceremony. I think it was, hold on, let me double check. This was not a naming ceremony, but this was like a it's like instead of having like a wedding, because they're already pack mates, and I guess like in this world I think weddings are a thing, but it's a little bit different than how we understand it. So this was more of like introducing like, hey, we have a baby now and we want to introduce this baby to the community, and like this is the baby's name. Let me see, what's like the official name? Yeah. It's just a baby ceremony. I don't know how else to put it. It's a welcome baby ceremony. And I gave everyone much nicer clothes. So this is what they're wearing. I've updated it. I've tried to fashion the clothes based off of perhaps what I wanted it to be. I want these clothes to be very like traditional to their cultures, so I think the style of the clothes would reflect the region in which their people came from. Nala currently lives on the surface, but I wanted to give Nala the kind of outfits that people would wear in the deep sea as well, because that's where their family's from. So Nala, you could see that Nala has like a lot of what looks almost like sequins, but they're actually based off of the lights that you see on some deep sea creatures, like, you know, anglerfish, how along their spines they have little lights on it. So it's like that. These are like little lights that you would see in like these little strips, and like the little, what looks almost like sparkles. I don't know what you would call these. These little sequins on the tentacle hair is also glow-in-the-dark paint, basically. Sparkly, glow-in-the-dark confetti paint. Confetti paint? I don't want to call it confetti, but you know what? You know those are sparkly things, right? The name evades me currently, but it's that. They're also wearing a big, this is actually like carved stone, like a carved stone belt. There's a lot of aspects of their outfit that just has glowing things on it. This thing glows. It's like a little light, basically. It's a little light. There's a bunch of lights on their tentacles. And yeah, and then For Shuri's outfit, there's a lot of like bird-themed stuff. Lots of feathers, very big, very fancy. The sparkly thing, not glitter. Oh yeah, glitter. More or less glitter, like glitter, but maybe like larger pieces of glitter. Also, thank you so much, Con. Thank you for always encouraging me to get some rest. I appreciate you. Let's see. So you're saying you get what I mean about the ceremony thing. It's more like a community based as opposed to an event you invite people to. Yeah. I think that's a great way to put it. I think you still invite people, but it's like the people in your community. So it would be like friends, family, etc. And like other community members, you know, like your co-workers, your neighbors, to be like, look, a baby, a new member of the community. So I've just been going through these frames and updating what they're wearing. If you go far enough, they'll revert back to their old outfits. Well, at least Shuri will. You can see that Shuri's old outfit was basically, it was like way less detailed. It just doesn't look that stand out-ish, not like something that you would wear in a special event. So yeah, been editing that. I've also included a new intro sequence where I pop up and I explain to you what the story's about. I basically will be like, oh yeah, so this is what the story's about. I'm gonna mention that it's about the genre, because I don't want people coming in and being like, oh, is this an action story? Is this a very like drama story? I wanted to set right from the beginning. I wanted to let people know this is a slice of life and it's about people going to art and game dev, people going to art school and game dev school in like a futuristic magical world. And I wanted to also mention right from the get-go that there is a voting system. It's going to be on like Patreon or something, and what you vote will determine the main character's personality. And yeah, I'm just mentioning too that like this series is for adults. It's safe for work. The series is safe for work because it's on YouTube. It's never going to be like too violent, too sexual. I think also by my own tastes, I don't think I would ever want to show anything super explicit. That's just kind of not my vibe. That's just not something I'm personally interested in too. So I wanted to also let people know that, because I think when a lot of people see a show that's for adults, they're like, oh, there's like a lot of sex and there's like a lot of violence, and I'm like, nope, sorry, none of that here. If you want that, you should look elsewhere. Yeah, in like the nicest way possible. I'm just like, what do I say? I say, yeah, this web series is safe for work, but the themes and storytelling will be more mature because it's meant for adults. And then you'll push into the prequel door, and then it goes into the story. Yeah. You guys like it? I'm glad you guys like the intro. Yeah, like the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I think I need an intro. I wanted to make it short, but I think it's a little bit longer than I intended it for. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe once I finish all my boards and I come back and I look at the opening, I will also be like, maybe it needs to be longer actually. Maybe it's too short. But yeah, I'm just showing you guys stuff. It'll be a nice poll. You think the voting thing will be a nice poll? I'm glad. I really love stories that you can vote on. I just think it's such a cool concept. I love the idea of like everyone voting on things together. What I hope will happen is in the future, the community will sometimes gather together and try to coordinate on what to vote for. I think in the past, I've definitely participated in games and I think it's mostly games and stories that are like this, but I really love scenarios where the community has to kind of negotiate and plan for things together and theorize about things together and then make a choice together. I always think that's very, very fun. Guji will always get their ice cream? Wait, tell me more. What do you mean by this? Yeah, and also for this scene, I'll go over a little bit on my choices for this scene and why I chose to do it this way. So I wanted to have, initially I only had my character in the middle talking and yapping and gesturing around. But then I think it can work if it was so short it was only like 3 frames. But obviously this is not 3 frames. We're heading into like easily 20, 30 frames here. So I was thinking, okay, this is too long for my character to just be in one place. It becomes very visually boring. So I was like, okay, I need my character to either... The easiest way to introduce interest is to move your character either forward or backwards towards the camera. So I was like, okay, I'll have my character slowly walk towards the camera as they talk about things. I think this is also a great way to kind of keep things visually interesting while the background doesn't have to move. And then I was like, okay, what if I had my character walk up to a door that just says prequel on it? Because I was thinking, like, how do I transition? I was like, maybe I could have... Okay, so this was like my first idea. I was like, my character could walk backwards into the background because... From a metaphorical point of view, if my character is moving further and disappearing to the background and the images in the background are becoming clearer and closer to frame, it feels almost like me as the author, I'm like stepping away from the stage and I'm giving the stage to the creation. But then I realized I didn't have a good way to transition from that into the rest of the updates. So I was like, okay, what's like another way to do it? And I was like, okay, well, what if I get closer to the camera and then I get close enough to do this visual trick where it's like I open a door and then the camera pushes into the black door. And I was like, okay, that might be a little bit more... That could also work, and I think as a transition is more engaging, it keeps people focused. I think in my opinion, sometimes after seeing something finish, for instance, if I think for me as an audience and as observing how other people respond to information, usually at the end of information or when someone finishes talking, that's the easiest point for someone to lose interest and to click somewhere else or to move and do something different. So I was like, I need the transition to be something visually engaging enough for you to keep watching. So I was like, okay, if I do like a camera push in, this could be good. Like that could be like, oh, what's this? What's gonna happen next? And like maybe like the movement will generate enough curiosity. So that was my mindset on why I chose these shots. Let's see here. Rotary, you said, oh heck yeah, safer work for adults is so nice. Too much of adult media forces sex or violence and I don't like it unless it's valuable to the plot. That's 100% how I feel as well. Yeah, I definitely think like I definitely engage a lot with media as an adult for the escapism of things and to just have a good time. I think, like, sometimes for me, in my mind, I'm like, if I wanted violence and if I wanted sex, I could just go engage with media that focus specifically on that, question mark? So yeah, I definitely think that, like, yeah, like I would love to see more adult stories that just focus on telling the stories and more mature stories. Nothing against adult stories with a lot of sex and a lot of violence, you know, but I think, you know, there could be more stories out there. I would love to see more stories out there that are, yeah, not necessarily focused on that. So I'm excited to put more content like that out there. Let's see. Khan, you said the only time you've been involved in a vote for choices thing was when we... Oh, yeah, when ID Lost made the Autumn Festival. And then it got really heated about whether or not we wanted to give Gucci ice cream. Oh my goodness. Wow, that brings me back. Yeah. That was a good time. I'm glad we all played that together. I'm glad everyone got really heated about whether or not we wanted to be nice to Gucci or if we wanted to deny Gucci ice cream. Heck yeah, that was a fun time. I really enjoy Choose Your Own Adventures. I guess, yeah, seeing our dating sim, it was not a dating sim. Seeing our visual novel Choose Your Own Adventure is probably like a great, like a great moment to think about once again as you look at the fact that I'm making a web series that is also a Choose Your Own Adventure. It's like, oh, there's the connection, there's the interest. Hello, Vaki. Where can I find my Patreon? Don't worry, Rotary, it's not up yet. I will let you guys know when I have the Patreon up. I still need to test it. I need to make sure that the voting is how I want it to be. I want to make sure that it... I have some things I want to test about Patreon just to make sure that it's the right platform for me to be putting this on. So I know it says Patreon here. I might gently peel that off if Patreon ends up not working. This will say something else if it's not Patreon. Alas, Khan. It's okay. It can be a dating sim in your mind. It can be a dating sim in your mind. If you play your cards right, I'm gonna say this right now. I mean, you guys are building the main character. You guys are deciding Taba's personality from the ground up, right? You're deciding if this gremlin is truly a gremlin or if they're just like a nice, accommodating person. And once just like in Sims, how you build a character in Sims, once you build Taba, you know, in the future, you can make life choices for them, I suppose. Who knows what they will do in life and if they will seek romance or not. So maybe I hesitate to say that Interconnections could be a dating sim. It's not really a dating sim because dating is not the focus of this. But I guess it's like, yeah, it's like there will be more choices for you to pick in Interconnections compared to the ID Lost Autumn Festival, for sure. Apollyon has gone into the sunset with his husband. Still down atrocious for him. Oh my goodness, Khan. I am so glad that you liked Apollyon so much. I'm very cheesed. So happy. Yeah. I'm so cheesed. But yeah, so that is all of the stuff that I've done over this last week is this little intro. So Bucky, real fast, I put a little intro in the beginning of Interconnections where I just explain what the series is about so that people don't get the wrong idea about anything. Yeah, no wrong ideas. None at all. Hopefully, at least. Yeah, this will also be a very short stream. So this is more of like an info/catching up stream. I don't know how much I can actually get done here, because I still have to go cook dinner in just a moment. But yeah, just a little catch-up stream. Just a little catch-up. Tomorrow, I hope to actually do some more frames. I just woke up so late today, and I'm so lethargic. I'm so fucking lethargic. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and copy-paste these into this frame. Yeah, I'll also talk about maybe like why I made these choices. So definitely, I think something I'm learning more about storytelling is that a lot of storytelling is not just the information you're displaying to your audience, it's about how you time it. Timing is so important. So in this shot, you know, I don't have to show a close-up of Taba putting food onto their plate, but I want to show the scale of how much food is being put on their plate while Hiev is looking away. And then I wanted the camera to not reveal Hiev's reaction to the food just yet. So I wanted this frame. I wanted something like this. I wanted the camera to start close to Hiev, for Hiev to be like, oh, everything's fine. And then I want the camera to then like zoom out, and then you see like how much food is on Taba's plate. I wanted this shot no matter what, because I think a lot of comedy is also about having simple shots and not anything too complex. Think like SpongeBob. Everything is just like a single shot and there's not much movement, and I guess like the more it looks like a stage play, the funnier it is. So I'm like, I really want this shot where like the camera just zooms out and then there's like, whoa, so much food on Taba's plate. So in order to accommodate for this, I also think that this close-up helps to reset people's minds. Because if you go from a wide shot and then for no reason you cut close, it could work, but it might also be kind of weird. In storyboarding, there's something called, you want to create incentivized shots. So an incentivized shot is a shot that happens because there's a reason for it, and because the audience in their head is asking a question and your shot is providing the answer. So in this shot, the audience already sees everything. The only question that the audience might have in this is like, maybe like two things. One is like, what is Fuven doing off screen? That's one question that the audience might have. What's going on off screen? How is the parent reacting to this child requesting for another utensil? Another question though that people might be asking is like, what's going on in this corner? Because the camera's a little bit too far away to give detail. So that's why you can kind of cut in close. And then when you cut in close and it's showing that Taba's adding a lot of food to the plate, the audience might then ask, wait, what is Hiev's reaction to Taba taking so much food? Or what is anyone else's reaction? What is maybe the parent's reaction? So those are the two questions that people would have. What is Hiev's reaction? What is the parent's reaction? So then from that, I can choose to cut to Hiev's face, which is answering the question, what is Hiev's reaction? And Hiev's reaction is, Hiev doesn't know yet. So yeah. That would be the thought process for why I'm doing these cuts. Let's see, Con. You said it's more like a life sim. You watch through someone's life. That might include getting cutesy, it might be studying, it might be that awful 9 to 5. That's true. This is very much a life sim. You're right. You are so correct, Khan. 100%. That's a great way to put it. I need to think about that. This is a life sim. Maybe I should add that to the intro. No, it's probably fine. I'll describe it as a life sim in some of the blurbs or summaries. Not even stream has to be maximum productivity. If you just want to do a little stream and chat about the series, then that's fine. Thank you, Khan! I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah. Occasionally we might have a stream that's more like this, where I just inform you of things only because I woke up too late. Interesting, Vucky, you say that I am overestimating people because you think that most people would not ask these questions while watching shows. I suppose so. I mean, to be fair, when I'm watching a show, I'm also not actively asking questions per shot. But I will say, Vucky, I think people's subconscious can be very powerful. I think people's subconscious can be very powerful, and because we've watched so much TV shows, we are used to people choosing shots that answer our subconscious questions. So we're used to this type of shot choices. If you watch a Pixar movie, by the way, the best example of very good shot choices are like Pixar movies, and the reason for that, why I would say Pixar movies even over some TV shows or like I think movies sometimes have like really good shot choices. So I won't say movies, but I think Pixar movies tend to be really good because that's all they do all day, is that they will board out a sequence and then they go to a meeting, and then in the meeting everyone, all they talk about is how do we look at these shots and how can we tell the story better through these shots. They're always like, how can we make this better? How can we make this better? So Pixar movies, the shot choices are basically like the result of many artists working really hard and revising the shots until it says exactly what they wanted to say. So yeah, from like a cinematography perspective, if you're talking about shots that answer your questions subconsciously, Pixar does it really good. But yeah, I do think that, yeah, it's like maybe people are not consciously asking these questions while watching a movie, but subconsciously I do think they kind of pay attention to this. The only reason why I say that is because if you board in this way, people will say, which I get this comment a lot in my comments from my storyboards, people say, oh, it's so cinematic. And in my head, I'm just like, I don't feel like I'm choosing especially cinematic shots, but what I am doing is I'm making sure that my shots are very incentivized, I guess. They're incentivized? My shots are very like, they always answer questions, and I don't cut for no reason. Or I try not to. Every now and then I sometimes cut for no reason, and only it's because in my head I'm just like, I really need this next shot to look like this, and I can't figure out how to set it up properly, so forget it. Fuck, I'm just gonna cut. I'll just cut it. But yeah, for the most part, I can go through each one of these shots, and I can lay out the reasons for each cut, because every single cut is like very purposefully planned in my brain. But yeah, if you watch a show that doesn't have this, it does feel different from a subconscious point of view. I will say, like, sometimes I watch a show that isn't very carefully planned in their shots, and I'm in my head, I'll just be like, why the hell are you choosing these shots? But to be fair, I am a board artist, so I've been trained to do this. So that's probably also something that I should think about. I should consider that maybe most people when they're watching a movie are not looking at the shots. But because this is something that I trained in, I do have like a bit of a I can't turn it off anymore. So sometimes I'll be watching like a TV show and then I'll be like, what the hell was that shot? Or I'll like watch a movie and I'll be like, what was that shot? I do want to say though, sometimes it's not their fault. Sometimes it's just like, you know, they don't have enough footage. It's rough. Making content is rough. I don't want to give people the impression that like, yeah, like people are not working hard. People out there, they're working hard. Shout out to all the people making great content, great movies and TV series. Okay, let me. I realized I didn't mat these drawings. Am I gonna make this fully animated or was I gonna do it like an animatic? Just an animatic. But to be fair, wait, let me also say this real fast. A real animatic would not be this detailed. This is like a strange fusion between an animation and an animatic. It's animatic in the sense that I'm not actually fully animating some of this. It plays like a slideshow for the most part. There are some moments that are a little bit more animated. I think like the intro is like, there's a lot of like, this is animated? No, I don't know. I don't think this is really animated. This is like this is like, it leans more towards animation than boards. I'm doing a lot of tricks here. Here, let me show you some of my tricks. I peel back the curtain. So, let's see here. This is something that I like calling, it's not fake animating, and I'm not cheating, but I'm not actually animating here. So this is the frame, right? I have my hand outstretched. Next frame, for a very quick frame, I squish myself. Like I select all of myself and I transform and I squish myself, and then I bounce into the next pose. It's a completely different pose. There's no in between. And then to bounce to the next pose for another split frame. There's like a little bit of a squish on the next pose and then it bounces back to normal. So when it plays, it looks almost like there's movement, but in reality, I'm just squishing really fast. Blah, 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 blink. See, it's like splink, blink. It looks almost like movement, but it's not. It's just a slideshow still. Here too, it's like my hand does a very quick, like it's moving downwards, and then it goes all the way down. Like, pook. But in movement, it's fine. And I think what also helps the trick, this is almost like a magic trick actually, because magic tricks are about like moving your focus, right? This little hand movement, it's so jarring because look, I changed size so quickly, but it's not super noticeable because the background is also changing. So your eyes will look to the background and you won't notice that there was like a weird movement here. Here too, like I move from this frame to this frame. It's just a slideshow. I'm not actually animating, but in this frame, I think the blink also kind of helps to reset things, but in the blinking frame, see how I'm like a little squished downwards? Your immersion is ruined? Oh, Rotary, I'm sorry, I've ruined your immersion. Once again, I squish. But yeah, the slight movement. Look, it looks almost like I'm like changing poses, but I'm not. I'm just flipping through frames. Yeah, I don't know. Is this real animating? I feel like I'm just cheating it a little bit. This is kind of animation, but like thing like real animation is you would actually draw some of these in between frames. Am I gonna voice this? Sorry, there will be no voice work. Wait, maybe I should add a frame here that says there's no sound because we don't have the budget for it yet. There's no way. I'm not gonna learn how to put in sound for this. I mean, maybe in a few updates, if I'm brave enough, I'll learn how to put sound in. So, like, my problem with that is I think that's a whole different stat block. In my character sheet, I've put 50 points into storyboarding, and I've put 50 points into visual storytelling, and like, basically, I put a lot of points into like visual stuff, storytelling, storyboards, all of this. Sound is like a whole other branch, which I have like barely any EXP in. So my worry is I would learn how to put sound in, but it'll just sound bad. It'll just sound bad, and it'll just be like a worse experience because I don't know. So my problem is I can't even tell what is good sound or not. Sometimes I will see people in comments being like, oh, like the sound in this video is so weird. And I'll be like, really? I couldn't tell. Or some people will be like, oh, the sound in this song is so good because of the layering and like it's so nuanced and there's so many textures. And I'm just like, it just sounds like a song to me. So... yeah, my worry is that like I just don't even have the ear for it. Like I think the only thing I have an ear for and when it comes to sound is for melodies, because I took piano for like, was it 8 years? 7, 8 years? So I have, the only EXP I put into music is specifically for construction of melodies and for like basic understanding of like musics and specifically how nice a piano sounds. But when it comes to anything else about sound and all that stuff, I don't have any experience. So I would have to find a sound person. And I don't know, I don't have the budget for it currently, but I would love to have sound one day for Interconnections. You know, maybe one day if we're earning enough for the Patreon thing, I'll funnel it into someone to put sound effects, at least sound effects, maybe no voices. Voice acting, that's another can of worms too. I have friends who are like voice actors, but I could not afford them currently. Let's see. Wait. Let me see what you guys have been saying. So let's see. Con, you said, I've got an eye for storyboarding. Thank you. Sometimes when your brain is attuned to stuff like making cinematic shots, it becomes normal. I see. I think I get what you mean. So like my brain is attuned to making cinematic shots. I can see that. And thank you so much, Con. Ah, you are so sweet. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you, Con. You are so sweet. You're awesome. You're awesome. My Keanu Reeves voice. You're beautiful. All the shots feel purposeful, which you love. Hey, thank you, Rotary. Shout out to all the people making great content like me. Thank you, God. Thank you. Hey, thanks, Con. Hey, thanks, Con. Oh, you charmer, you. You charmer. You feel icky calling things content? Content. Oh my gosh, you guys! You're all so sweet. I'm a little speechless, thank you guys. Let's see, Vucky. We can really break the immersion. Let's see, wait, so you're saying, Vucky, that we can really break the immersion by setting up a camera, watching the real Lant, voicing the PNG Lant, describing the comic Lant, talking about the comment as a whole. Yeah, that'd be fun. It's just, oh my gosh, it's Lantception. A good old Lantception. How fun. How goofy. Okay, I don't think I need this anymore. Alright. Oh, Lantception. Yeah, I think, you know, I'm just gonna chill here for maybe like, this is sad to say, maybe 10 more minutes. And then I'm gonna go cook. I can't believe we've already been streaming for 40 minutes. I've just been yapping about some of the shots I've made. I've just been yapping. But yeah, I think for this shot currently, the challenge here is I want to make it look like Taba is grabbing huge portions of food. But the problem is that this, the first portion doesn't look that big, which is fine. You know, most of it is submerged inside the bowl. But I really want to go big with it. I want it to be ridiculous how much they're shoveling. But I don't want to make it too cartoonish, maybe? So we'll test things out a little bit. Yapping is premium content? Why, thank you. Oh, why, thank you. The yap zone. Okay, I'm gonna grab that, and then I'm gonna make a new layer, and then paste this. It's gonna be like this, and it's gonna be like this. I think I could maybe sell the concept if I simply make the next piece just like this. If I can balance the next piece like here. Yeah, I just need this to be large chunks. Taba, I need you to go so big. Don't go home, Taba. Just go big. Yeah, I definitely think some of the challenges of writing a story and work. Writing a story. Maybe just for interconnections, or maybe just storytelling in general. I definitely think I'm a beginner when it comes to writing a story. A lot of what I've gained EXP in is telling stories in sequences of drawing sequences for stories that have already been prepared for me. So much of storyboarding is like other people already preparing the boards, the story they want you to do, and they give you like a script. So I have a lot of EXP when it comes to that. But yeah, I can't wait to gain more EXP when it comes to writing my own stories, long-form stories as well. And I think one of the challenges is finding the perfect balance between exaggeration and non-exaggeration. I think in anime, things can get kind of exaggerated, but I always want my stories to at least feel like having a degree of realism. So that's why I'm like, I can't make these pie chunks too big. It's a cartoon. I know it's a cartoon, but I don't want it to be too much. I don't want it to be too cartoony, otherwise, like, I feel like it breaks the immersion a little bit. Hi, Peas here! Hello! Today's a very short stream. Today is gonna be a very, very short stream. I'm actually, we're nearing the end of stream. I started stream very late because I woke up very, very late. But today has just been mostly a day of going over a lot of the shot choices I've done for this series. If you look at VOD, it'll just be mostly me yapping about a lot of the choices I've made in my boards. You'll stick around until I'm done? Con, you should go to sleep. You are so sweet. You should go to sleep. It's sleepy time for Con. I know you sleepsies. You got home from school and slept for 4 hours. Heck yeah! Wow, we love to see it. Get that good sleep. Hey, take care of yourself. Hey, are you taking care of yourself today with ample amounts of sleep? Make sure you are. I'm rooting for you. You got this. I cast a sleeping spell on you. Ooh, you want to sleep so bad. Ooh. It's like 12:40. Okay. Good night. Gooby. Gooby. I'm just gonna go for like a couple minutes more. No worries about it. Thank you so much for dropping by. We're so very sweet and encouraging. Okay. You know what? Ah, fuck. I don't think I want this frame. Hold on, I'm gonna save this frame. I'm gonna stick it at the back so we can like forget about it. I'm going to just do this frame. I'm just gonna go straight into Taba leaning forward, and I'm not even gonna bother doing the in-between. This is maybe good enough, right? Dropping, reaching over. Okay, we don't need the in-between. We don't need the in-between. You're adorable, Con! I'm pointing at you, Con. You guys are all so sweet. You're always treating me so well, giving me so many compliments. It is 12:40 a.m. for Con. Peace here. So it's time for Con to get some sleep. But yes, totally, Con. I want a consistent level of believability. I want it to be very believable. I think that's hard. I think it's definitely hard because sometimes you'll have something in mind. You're like, oh yeah, it could work, and then you actually draw it out, and you're like, never mind. Maybe it cannot work. Actually. Ooh, congratulations. I'm so glad you got a little lift into work. That's great, that's great. You have to get up kinda soon? Oh yeah, Con, I tuck you in. Good night. Take care. I care you do. Get some sleep. It's slumbo time. Okay. Let's grab this. Let's stick it here. We're gonna reuse this body pose for this frame. And I'm actually gonna steal this frame again. And maybe maybe I can do it like, don't worry about this, don't worry about this. Something like that, maybe? I mean, that looks believable, that looks pretty good. It'll be like that, and then I want this piece of cake to be huge. Pie! Pie! I keep saying cake! It's not cake, it's pie. Do I really want cake so badly that I keep saying cake? I think I could maybe make the pie look like this. Have you ever gotten so much food in one single spoonful that it just it's like looming over your hand? Just me? Oh, I know what to do for this. I think for this particular pie piece, I want it to be the bird. I want the entire bird on it. I want the entire bird portion. Let me find what the bird looks like. This whole bird portion? I'm taking this bird portion. This bird's mine. I yoink it. I'm gonna yoink this bird. I'm gonna yoink this bird. And then I'm gonna even grab some of the leaf underneath it, probably. Whew. Yeah. Wait, that's perfect. Squish it down, please. Oh my word. Tapa. What have you done? I like that. I like it. I like it. I'll have like a piece like that. I feel like this wing should be... Okay, wait, I'm gonna copy this onto this layer. And I think for this, it could be fun if the wing was like a little bit... It's been broken a little bit. I feel like that's just kind of what happens when you handle crusts. They just kind of snap sometimes. Especially when you're really moving them around a lot. Okay, and then now I have to depict the berries. The goopy berries. I think something that's also effective when it comes to drawing is you want to really look at your drawing from a bit further away. I think when you're too close to your drawing, like physically, when you're too zoomed in, you oftentimes get way too caught up in details, and then when you zoom out, you realize that it doesn't look good overall. So it's good to zoom out a little bit. When you zoom out, sometimes you're just like, it looks great. No changes necessary. Saves you a lot of time. Ooh, okay, so I want the little chunks to be of a darker color. After I change the color of this, I think that's it for today. I will see you guys tomorrow afterwards. I hope you guys have had a wonderful day thus far, by the way. Hope it's been going really well for you. Hope it's all been great. Do I need one more frame? I think I need one more frame. I need one more frame. Okay. Or else... I look at you pleadingly. What are you going to do to me? Or else... Oh. Okay. I know I just said I'm gonna quit after that frame, but what if I did just one more frame? I wanted to, okay, so they're putting it down. I think it's gonna sit maybe like this, a little bit. It's gonna settle like that. And then this part over here is going to settle maybe a little bit like, this part's gonna settle like this. Here. Or else! Oh. How scary. How scary, Rotary. Oh. Goopy. This is so sad. This is a little goopy looking. Plop. Give me that. Map me up, baby. Wait, what happened? Oh, hold on. Okay. Map me up, baby. What? Nice. Okay. Plop. Oh, it's missing a little bit more. Okay, I just need it to be so sad. I need it to be like... I need it to truly be like... This way, please. Just more. Just really flop. I need you to flop. What's that sound? Sorry, that might have been me squeaking. I might have been squeaking just now. Apologies for the squeaking. That was me. I admit to it. I was squeaking. I was squeaking, I think. Okay, I think we're finally onto something. It's really hard, in my opinion, to make something look like it's flopping over. It's actually really hard. I have so much respect for animators and artists that can make something look like it's really just sinking and flopping. Okay, that helps. The wing really flopping it that was good. Ooh, am I ever gonna recreate this pie in real life? That's actually a great question. Would I? I could try. You know, I think it could be fun to try and recreate some of the recipes I have in this web series. I think I try to make a lot of the recipes very fantastical. Just like very, very different in some ways, but yeah, familiar. I still want you to feel like, oh yeah, this is totally like a thing that people would eat. In fact, I want people to be like, I would eat that. So I think it could be fun to try to recreate it, and not only that, but try to maybe match the flavor profile a little bit. This is good enough. Okay, we don't need this ring. Yay! Yippee! Okay, that's good. I need to start keeping track of how many frames I've done this week. By the way, if you ever want to track your own progress, this is what I recommend. Count how much you do each week, because if you do that, it will help you feel better about how much work you're putting in. I think sometimes when you don't count your progress and what you're doing, it can be easy, at least for me, to feel like I'm not doing enough, or that I'm not making a lot of progress. But if you can find a way to count your progress each week, it can be great for your perception of the work you're doing. I think when it comes to art, especially art, writing, anything creative, it could be a little bit hard. I think there's a lot of other jobs out there where it's like a little bit easier because it's easy to see. For instance, if you're programming, if you finish how many lines a day, I would assume, or like how much you get done, it's very easy to see it. It's just, it's in the program. Same with like if you're doing like, I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe my perception is wrong. But I guess like if you're like doing other things, like for instance, I don't know, like fixing things, whether it be cars or appliances, it's pretty clear that like today I fixed one car or an appliance. Maybe it's easier to measure. But then again, I guess like now that I'm thinking about it, art can also be easy to measure. Like today you drew a art piece, or you drew like a bunch of art pieces. You know what? On second thought, there's probably not actually that much of a difference. As just a reminder, yeah, it's good to keep track of how much you do a week. Can I add a Waluigi reference somewhere? No. Waluigi does not exist in this universe. I will not be stooping to putting IPs into my series. That is simply too dangerous. I will not be putting other people's IPs into my story. Okay. Actually, I want this frame. I was going back for another scoop. I was working fast. Okay. We did it! Yay! Okay, thank you guys for dropping by. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll be working further into this particular voting option. Each day we inch closer to the release. Maybe I'll have this done in a couple of weeks. We're close, but there's so much more ironing out I have to do behind the scenes. But we're close. It might end up being the case where if I finish all the boards in like a week or two, I'm just gonna go radioactive silence for maybe another week as I set everything up and just make sure that everything is as perfect as we can get. There's gonna be a lot of final juice adding. A lot of like, what if I add a little more frames here? What if I make this a little smoother? I'm gonna try not to do too much of it. You know what? Fuck, I might need to set some kind of deadline for myself. Just so I can keep myself from over polishing. But you think about that. Alright, thanks guys for coming. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye! Rotary, thank you!